So today I want to do a little bit of a deep dive into these items right here, the character craft stickers. They've obviously just recently been removed from the CS2 Armory finally, which is pretty unprecedented, pretty crazy. You know, the first time that we're really going through these items being created, being added to the Armory, staying in for a while, and then being removed. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to end up being some kind of great investment, but I do think this is the first real big investment opportunity in the CS2 era, not just the character craft stickers, but all the things that have been removed from the Armory. So we're going to be diving into some of the numbers, some of the data, some of the analysis here, looking at how some other kind of operation items and stuff like that I've done in the past, looking at application numbers, all that. This video is going to have a lot of good information. I think you guys are definitely going to learn something from it, but also hopefully it'll be able to inform you in making better investment decisions into the character craft stickers as well. And I think there's going to be, like I said, some potential to make a nice amount of money out of these. So we'll have to wait and see. But first, of course, just want to mention my cash trading business. If you guys are looking to sell any of your CS2 items, turn them into cold hard cash, crypto, PayPal, any other payment method, whatever, hit me up over on Twitter. Going to be the first link in the description below. Also, Discord is going to be linked down there as well. Feel free to join our community or DM me over there if that's the best way to get in touch with me. You know, we're willing to buy anything and everything, but of course, trying to get the big deals done always. So expensive skins, gloves, knives, bulk cases, maybe you want to sell your entire inventory, whatever, we can help you get cashed out safely, effectively, and efficiently. Some of the cool stuff we've been cashing out recently, this Black Scope, Desert Hydra, you know, Kill Confirm Factory New, Leap Museo, Factory New Stat Track, 99.8% Kukri Knife Fade. A lot of cool stuff. Maybe you're going to be next. With that being said, let's get right into this video today. So what I wanted to look at first was actually some of these graphs, because I think this is pretty interesting. Like I said, I believe these were removed 2 days ago, and I know that there were a lot of people out there that were thinking as soon as this stuff got removed that it was going to pop, that it was just going to go straight up. But when I look historically, you know, at operation items when they've been removed and stuff like that, it doesn't just pop straight up, especially because, you know, previously people knew that operation items were going to be limited. You know, it wasn't a shock or a surprise. Maybe it was a surprise on like the exact day they got removed or whatever, but you know, when you know something's going to be removed, once it finally gets removed, you're not going to like triple in price overnight or anything like that. And obviously with these Armory items, Valve announced that they were going to be removed. And when Valve announced they were going to be removed, we saw a little bit of a pop, but then, you know, you're not really going to get a second pop once they actually get removed, because like I said, it's already priced in to some extent. People already know it's going to be priced in a little bit. But what's also interesting is the price have actually dropped a little bit on a lot of these character craft stickers. You know, this is like the clown nose, and on September 16th, this thing rose all the way up to $1.57. It went from 20 cents to $1.57, now back down to 45. Yes, it has doubled in price, but that's a very, very big drop. You know, this thing lost 75% over the course of a couple of weeks. And this graph, you know, is not, it's like a lot of these, you know, this is, I can't remember what this is. What the glare went from 6 cents, which is insane. If you were picking up the glare for 6 cents, like you're going to make a lot of money off those in the future. I'm just very, very certain of that. 6 cents on the glare, up to 26 cents, now down to like 13, 12, which I think is still a pretty good price. Taste Bud here, this thing was 21 cents, up to 63, now down to 26, which is pretty crazy. And then we have the Flex sticker here. This one, you know, was originally like 46 cents, rose all the way up to $1.55, and now back down to like 73. But again, still not quite a double from where it was previously, but still, we're seeing a lot of up and down right now. So yes, even though stuff did rise up, even though stuff did shoot up, it's come back down to, you know, higher prices than it was at before, but I still think prices that are somewhat reasonable if you're going to be investing in these things in the long term. Now, another thing that I thought was pretty interesting is this here. These are the new character craft sticker application numbers that have come from the CSGO Market Forum. Obviously, I know CSGO Market Forum, like on Reddit, and a lot of the times they have like weird discussions. They don't really have that great of information, whatever. They're also like toxic to a lot of content creators and stuff like that. So I don't really understand a lot of the animosity and weird stuff that goes on. But they do a nice compilation of some data. Again, this is supposed to be about like Roadrunner or some guy like that. These are the updated character craft sticker numbers, application numbers, I believe, from October 1st of 2025. They're not, I don't think 100% accurate. They're like estimates and stuff like that, but they're at least ballpark numbers. So I went through and made this little chart that shows us the ranking of the price ranking of these stickers right now on the Steam community market versus the application ranking. And what I think is a little bit interesting here is if we rank these by price, I think I can sort by here and go. We will see obviously the number one most expensive sticker right now. It's that Flex. Flex is number one in terms of price and application rate, which I think is pretty interesting because when I was buying these stickers a couple of days ago, the Flex sticker was actually the number 2 sticker in terms of price, with the ribbon tie actually actually being first, even though, Flex still had the highest application rate. So there's been times when ribbon tie is actually more expensive than Flex. I know there are some crafts with ribbon tie and stuff like that, but overall, I would say Flex is, the best blue sticker from the set, and it's, had the highest application rates for a long time. But you can start to see some interesting things. Ribbon tie, number 2 in price, but only number 4 in application rate. A big drop here is these next two. Clown Nose, number 3 in terms of price, but number 9 in terms of application rate, and then Chompers, number 4 in price, and then number 10 in terms of application rate. So maybe Clown Nose and Chompers, in terms of their prices, at least relative to some of the other stickers in this set, are a little bit overrated. Maybe these things are a little bit overpriced right now. Maybe they should be a little bit cheaper, or maybe some of these other ones should be a little bit more expensive. I don't know. But then when we get a look at some of the ones that might be a little bit underrated, you have stuff like Taste Bud, which is number 7 in price, but number 5 in application rate. So a little bit of a discrepancy there. You also have From the Deep, which is like the tentacle one, I believe. It's actually number 9 in price, but number 2 in application rate. And then these next two aren't horrible either. Fly High being 10th in price and number 6 in application rate seems pretty good to me. And Glare being number 11 in price, but actually number 8 in terms of application rate. So some of the ones that might be a little bit overrated might be like Clown Nose and Chompers. Maybe even Clown Wig is a little bit overrated as well. I think, stuff like I said here, the fact that we have, Fly High and Glare maybe being a little bit underrated. From the Deep also probably being a little bit underrated. Maybe those are ones you want to look at some investment opportunities overall a little bit better. Now, also, I wanted to compare and look at, the last operation we had, Operation Riptide, and the Operation Riptide stickers. And overall, I think the Operation Riptide stickers are a good set. Now, I know there's some other stickers. You have Surf Shop and other stuff like that came out in Riptide. But I think just these Riptide sticker set is, like, overall a pretty good comparison to Character Craft. I don't think it's, like, 1-to-1. I don't think they're exactly the same or anything like that. But I think there are some similarities to be made. I think there's a nice diversity in the overall stickers in both Operation Riptide and in the Character Craft. So I wanted to look at how different stickers in Operation Riptide have performed and see if there's anything we can find out in terms of what maybe type of investments we should be making into the Character Craft to potentially make the most money. So if we look down here, I got the price of every single Operation Riptide sticker on the day that these were removed. This is February 21st, 2022. I believe I have the Google thing pulled up here. What day did Operation Riptide end? February 21st, 2022. So that is when these items, these stickers, these collections went discontinued. And then over on the right, I have the prices on February 24th, 2025. These are 3 years later. So this is the 3-year price difference and percentage gains that we saw from Operation Riptide. Now, what you'll notice right away is a lot of these prices are cheaper. Just in the blues, we have 5 cents, 13 cents, 4 cents, 6 cents, 15 cents, 8 cents, 9 cents. And if we go back to here, I have pulled up, let me find out where I have the Character Craft stuff right now. You'll see a lot of this stuff is 10 cents and greater. Some of the stuff is 15, 20, 28, 30. The most expensive of the lowest rarity right now of the blues, if this loads, I believe are like, around 70 cents, 60 cents, stuff like that. Obviously, we have the Flex here. Let me pull up the graph for the Flex. Which one is it? I think it might be this one. Yeah, we have the graph for the Flex right here where it's sitting at 73 cents. And we can see, the most expensive paper at this time was 37 cents. So obviously that's going to affect the returns a little bit, but also at the same time, you got these things in different ways. For the Armory stuff right now, you actually have to play the game, grind passes, grind stars, redeem all that stuff. And Operation items, obviously, you could buy in more bulk, but obviously there's way more players now. Crafting is a way bigger thing. Investing is a way bigger thing. The market cap's higher. There's more money, all that stuff. So that a lot of different things are going into prices. And obviously, if you're having higher prices, it's probably going to affect returns to some extent. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. But still, we can see some different things here. We can see that, and here I have the application rates. Again, we had recent application numbers for Operation Riptide stickers coming out in January 20th of 2025. Obviously, it's been like 10 months since then, but obviously these sticker sets are like 3 years old as well. I'm sure these numbers haven't changed a ton, but I'm going off of the latest data we have from CSGO Market Forum, and we can see here is the number 1 most applied sticker was also the most expensive sticker at the end of Operation Riptide, and it had the biggest returns of any of these stickers in Operation Riptide. If you bought Liquid Fire papers at 37 cents, they were 3 years later worth $9.75, and you had 2,600% gains. This was the number one application thing. Now, if we look at the number two application thing, you can see here the kill count paper only had 815% return. So it's not necessarily, going in the order of the application rate or anything like that. Demand and, price and stuff like that has to matter. And there's just a bunch of different reasons why supply can go up. Yes. Or why price can go up. Yes, price can go up if people are using them to apply a bunch, but also, people collect stuff, people invest stuff. Not everything is necessarily, being applied, and an application doesn't necessarily make the price go up. But also, you can see here, the number 3 in terms of application was the Deadeye, is up 2,200%. Number 4 in terms of application is the Chicken in the Sky, up 2,300%. So application definitely trended towards being pretty good. Even though the kill count, wasn't necessarily the best investment from Riptide, still number 3, number 4, ended up being pretty good. Number 1 ended up being pretty good. So I thought that was pretty interesting. You have here in terms of, the cheapest one, the cheapest sticker from this whole thing, Operation Riptide, was 4 cents. It had some pretty low returns, a lot lower returns than a lot of other of the papers in this thing. And then some of the more expensive stickers like Liquid Fire did very well. This Great Wave at 15 cents did pretty decent. 8 and 9 cents, these stickers did decent. So I don't know. And then some of the cheaper ones, 4 cents, 5 cents didn't do so good. But then Deadeye at 6 cents still did very, very, very well. So it's kind of all over the place. But another thing you will notice from all of this is, here, no matter what, you made insane returns. In 3 years, your worst case scenario, if you bought any of the blues from the Operation Riptide sticker set, was 700% gains. And that's if you bought the worst sticker from this whole thing. And guess what? 700% returns in 3 years, that's off the charts. You know how many stocks return 700%, or any assets in the whole world return 700% in 3 years? It's like, not very many. It's like a handful of things. So you couldn't really go wrong. This kind of just shows you the power of discontinued items, discontinued collections, and just how good old operations were. And if the Armory is going to be this new version of operations, there's definitely some money to be made here. Now, like I said, there's definitely some things that have changed. Investing is way more popular. There's way more competition. There's way more supplies. There's way more players. It's very, very possible we could see returns muted a little bit, returns going down. But there's still a lot of room to make a ton of money with operation items and stuff like that, obviously. Now, another very, very interesting thing here is, again, I averaged out the returns. The average returns of a paper sticker from Operation Riptide, the average returns of a hollow sticker from Operation Riptide, and the average returns of a foil from Operation Riptide. And you can see here that if you picked a random paper, your returns were going to be around 1,500% in 3 years. If you picked a random hollow, 1,080. If you picked a random foil, 626. So this did show that at least in Operation Riptide, again, I haven't dove into all the other, sticker collections, and I'm sure there's different ways, and, you have Broken Fang, you have Shattered Web, you have Riptide, you have different sticker collections, whatever. But at least in this case, the papers, the cheaper stickers were the way to go. And that is something that I've been telling people before, because when I've done, research and in-depth analysis and stuff like this before, that is what I found previously as well. You want to find the good-looking, attractive, collectible, investable, applicable, actually that people are going to craft with stickers in the cheapest set. So when I'm looking at something like, I think I have it pulled up here, when I'm looking at something like the Character Craft sticker, if I'm going to guess what is going to have the biggest returns, I'm going to be going for stuff like the Glare. Very cheap. It's an eyeball. I could see how that could be crafted. I could see how that could have some demand and investability. Fly High. Again, I could see a ton of different crafts where people are putting wings on stuff. We saw From the Deep has very, very good application numbers. I think Taste Bud could be okay. Chompers, Clown Nose, Quick Peek could all be okay. I think Flex could be okay. And I would be trending, more towards these high-grade stickers, these blues from this collection. Now, I don't necessarily think things like Strike a Pose or Lefty CT or Lefty T or even XD. I don't really love Blinky that much. I'm not a huge fan of the ribbon tie, but if I was going to be buying some right now, I would definitely be, looking at Flex, looking at Clown Nose, Chompers, Taste Bud, From the Deep, Fly High, and Glare. And really, Glare at 7 cents is looking very, very attractive and very, very interesting to me. But from what we have seen, previously, and then looking at, like I said, some of these application numbers and stuff like that, Glare, sitting at the number 11 in price, but the number 8 in application is very, very attractive to me. Fly, looking at 10 in price, but number 6 in application, very attractive. From the Deep, 9 and 2, very, very attractive. Flex, being the number 1, application rate in this whole thing, that's very, very attractive to me. So that is what I'm looking at overall. And again, we saw that people made insane returns. There was a potential to make a lot of money, life-changing money, stupid money from some operation items and sticker sets and everything in the past. And I think the Character Craft sticker collection, and really a lot of the collections from the Armory, probably, if everything goes as planned, have a chance to make people a lot of money. But, you're not guaranteed to make crazy money. It's not like every sticker is going to go to the moon and stuff like that. But I think if you buy a ton, throw them in a storage unit, forget about them, wait in this case, we saw the returns in 3 years. There is definitely going to be some interesting and some crazy money to be made. That's just how, kind of attractive and high demand, discontinued sets and collections go in the world of CS2. So I'm definitely going to be buying up some character craft stuff. And like I said, at least right now, we haven't seen prices started exploding just yet. Prices are still, not in a terrible place. Yes, they're way more expensive than they were pre, announcement of the stuff getting removed, but there's a lot more risk before the stuff was getting removed. Now we know it's getting removed, but prices are not at all-time highs. Prices have a nice little dip right now. It's a nice time to start buying up character craft stickers, throwing them in a unit, forgetting about them for a couple years, and seeing where we end up. But I don't know. I think these stickers have a chance to make people a lot of money. We're going to have to wait and see. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.